you remember, I can't do anything else. All I could do was sports. I can't do anything else. I was a windsurfing instructor, water skiing instructor. I was riding and I was skiing. So now I have nothing. But the doctors told me, you're finished. You're finished. You have nothing now. You have nothing. You cannot do sports again because you'll lose your leg. And I was like, so a year later, recovering took forever. And I didn't go to people who said, oh, you went to God, because I said, no. I was like, you took away everything from me. You took it all away. So why would I go to you? Why? And then I was in Cyprus, recovering, learning to walk. I was horse riding, which is stupid because I was still on crutches. And then my physio invited me to a Bible study. I went to this Bible study with the most amazing people. And it was their love that drew me into the Christian faith. I was like, they're just beyond kind and compassionate. And they listened to me, and it didn't matter what I said, they still love me. And then I went on a retreat in Cyprus and I met Jesus. It was like, he's what I would be missing. And it was just so amazing. And I still have my Bible that I have with me, which is somewhere around. One of the girls gave me the Bible that week on retreat. And I was like, this is so amazing. This is truly amazing. But I'm sorry to say, I was starting to get strong again, and I couldn't let go of my craving and my passion to do sports. And I met Jesus, and I was excited about traveling, so excited that I even tried to get into Bible college in the UK, but they wouldn't accept me because I didn't have the right qualifications. And I got angry with God. Okay, you're not interested, really. You're not interested, because you would have opened those doors for me. And I just thought, no, I don't trust you. I don't trust you, Jesus. Don't trust you. And jumped on a plane, went back to England, bought myself a racehorse, tried to become a jockey. That didn't work because of my leg. And I just said, no, I'm not going. I tried everything to get back into skiing. I couldn't. My leg just wouldn't have it. Then I ended up, I don't know how it all happened, but I ended up in the Middle East working in sponsorship, sports sponsorship in a public relations agency. I ended up also working with the Formula One, Rothmans, Williams, Renault, and traveling around the world with them. At the same time, I was show jumping and riding and playing polo, had a great life in the Middle East. My Christian faith didn't exist. I sort of met Jesus and walked away because I just didn't feel that. I'm so worried that he was going to turn me into like a clone, or just somebody had to, the do's and don'ts and the rituals. And that really, partly because of my upbringing as well with the convent school, but nothing against Catholics or the convent school nuns. They were just so kind, and I wouldn't have been able to put up with me. But it just really, I just didn't want to go that route with God because I was worried he was going to remove everything I loved. So I ended up, we're moving on now. I married, divorced, I'd got cancer, gone through that. How I got out of that, I have no idea. That was a miracle in itself. And then I was like, nearly going back to God, but then pulling back again. It's just like this roller coaster. And I just he must look at me and go, oh no, she's going again. She's off on her own. When I started getting involved in endurance racing, I met my husband, Jeff, who's Australian, which is why I live in Australia. Living the dream again. I ended up on the Irish team doing long distance horse racing. So I was racing in the United Arab Emirates. Then we moved over to France we had 19 horses. I was racing every weekend. And when I moved to France, there were there was a couple who I was introduced to by the local mayor, and they were just amazing, amazing people. They were horse people. They had Lipizzaners, Andalusians. They just had the most amazing chateau-made wine, but they were really strong Christians. They prayed over everything, into everything. They walked with Jesus. They lived with Jesus. But our relationship, I used to watch them going, wow, I just don't understand. That's so alien to how I saw religion or faith, or theirs was like he was with them all the time. They would speak to them like he was there, and they really helped me. They sat with me and we talked about all the preconceived ideas that I had. They said, that's not in the Bible. That's not. So we would sit and we would read the Bible. I did an Alpha course with them, and they just led me down this path. I was like, wow. And
Life Stories Worldwide is on YouTube, and it's very easy to subscribe to our channel. Just click the bell and subscribe, and receive notifications of when we are live, or simply watch any of our other videos. So check it out and give us a visit.
I said, Lord, I want what they have. I want you in my life. And it was so amazing. I'd be doing an hour's Bible study. I'd be praying. Now, remember, I'm still on the Irish team. I'm racing every weekend. We had a stable full of horses. My passion was horses. And I'd be saying to God, this is great, but I just feel like there's something missing. It's not, I didn't realize it was me not actually giving everything over. I was still holding on. I had a relationship with Jesus, but it was one-sided. If you're like driving a car, let's say, okay, I'm driving a car, I'm in control of where I'm going. Jesus is with me. He's in the car. Actually, I think Jesus was in the boot. So everything was fine for me. It was balanced. I had my faith and I had my sport, and I was doing what I wanted to do, and he was with me. It was great. And then he stepped in and showed me there could be so much more. And I didn't really have a relationship with him. I thought I did. So this is God. This is how he works sometimes. And every time I pray, I used to pray to him. I say, please, Lord, when I pray, don't put me in hospital again, because that's what normally happens. But I was really sort of struggling with my relationship with God, thinking, I know there's more. I know. And he showed me. And I've always qualified. I was always been in the top 6 riders for the World Equestrian Games, the Europeans, the World Championships. You have to qualify, obviously. And I had all my horses lined up. It takes maybe 3 to 4 years to get a horse ready for one of these events. And I was doing the qualifying event, had my favorite horse, who's actually Australian. Her name is Bizu, which means kiss, because she kept giving me a kiss on the side of the cheek. The day before the race, we were in Portugal. I just took her out for a short ride. And it took us 3 days to get there and 3 years of training. So I'm fairly focused, not good at failing, not good at failing, full stop. So I was riding her, and then suddenly she starts foaming at the mouth, sweating like white foam. And I jumped off her. I thought, and she started shaking, and I go, what's going on? And she's actually what they call in veterinary terms is like a tie-up. So our whole muscle system. Anyway, managed to get her back to the stables, and she was in a really bad state. I was praying. I said, Lord, do you want to help her? And the vets came in, and then obviously I wasn't going to race, and I just thought, oh, I'm not going to qualify. It was for the Kentucky, USA World Equestrian Games. And I was like, I'm not going to qualify. And I just lost it. I totally lost it. And I remember going back to the hotel room And I was so angry. I felt sorry for anybody next door. I was throwing my suitcase at the wall, and I was like a wild child having a tantrum. And I was angry at God. I said, you left me. You abandoned me. You walked out, and you've just left me. And anyone who's not competitive might not understand all this, but my whole life, my passion was that race. I was so focused on that. And I think God just stepped in going, there's so much more, Iona. But at that time, I couldn't see it. And I called Terry and Sylvie, my friends in France, and they just listened. They didn't say anything. I remember Bizou was fine. After 2 or 3 days of fluids or whatever, we traveled back to France, and Terry and Sylvie, my Christian friends, were on the doorstep and said, look, we can help you. We've got dinner and wine, and they had an elder from Zurich with them, and he kept asking me about my relationship with God, and I was like, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. And then they left. This is so difficult, but my heart, I just felt my heart had been ripped out. I felt like it sounds like horrible. I felt like I'd just been ripped open with a knife, and I had nothing. I just felt like people had died in my family, which just sounds crazy. And I remember just lying there at night, looking at the ceiling, thinking, I just feel such a failure. I can't go on. And it just showed me, I can look back now and say this, it just showed me how obsessed I was. I didn't realize. I had no idea. And that morning, the following morning, I walked down into the kitchen and I saw my do list. I always have a do list. If I don't write it down, I don't do it. And my Bible. And I looked at the Bible and I was like, I just went slightly numb. And then I just felt God's presence in the room. It was almost like Jesus had walked into the kitchen in France. Well, he did. He did. And I had this overwhelming sense of love. And he wrapped me in his arms, and he just cuddled me, and I just broke down in tears, and I was on the floor crying, not out of sadness. I was crying because he loved me so much. And I was like, I've got it all wrong. I've got it so wrong. And I had this amazing sense of freedom where all the stuff I'd carried, we carry so much stuff we don't even realize until he steps in. When he steps into your life, you realize you're carrying.
If you would like to speak to us here at Life Stories Worldwide, you can, simply by dialing +44 7943 550287. Call us now.
Stuff you don't even need to carry. Burdens, the responsibility, think that this identity that is a false identity, which is not really you. He just took everything off my shoulders. And I was like, I have just got it so wrong. And I said, Lord, I don't want to run my life anymore. I actually don't want to live without you. I don't want to live without you leading and showing me. I said, my hands are off that steering wheel. I don't want to control my life. I want to do what you want me to do, whatever. And it was just such an amazing, in a split second, my life changed. And anyone that says that can't happen, wrong. My life turned upside down and inside out. my heart changed. It's like he took my heart out and he put it back in. And I was like, wow, Lord, wow. And I remember calling my husband. He was in the Middle East, and I said, Jeff, I'm thinking I want to do this 3-year course, biblical course, because I need to know more about Jesus. And Jeff goes, Iona, when I spoke to you yesterday, you were screaming and crying and absolutely neurotic. Today you want to go to Bible college? And I was like, yep. And I did go, but I did it online. But it just, my whole life changed. I didn't stop with the horses. I gradually decided I didn't want to spend 9 hours a day just horse riding to win a race. There was so much more. I still have horses. I have 12 horses out here who I love. I don't compete anymore, retired from that. It was a slow, gradual, my heart changed that day. My heart changed. And I've learned that it's a total, utter surrender. Total surrender. And that, you know, my life from then has changed. That's a long time ago. It feels like a long time ago. It was a long time ago, 14, 15 years ago. He opened doors. You know, he doesn't remove the stuff that you think he's going to remove. When you surrender to Jesus, he doesn't remove your personality, because he gave you your personality. He gave you your identity. He adds to it. Think about that. He adds to it. He gives you more gifts and more talents that you can go around the world and glorify his name. And people go, wow, how can you do that? And you go, Jesus helps me all the time. And he does. So for all of you who are in, I've done it. I've been that wild child. If you go back and read my book. I was not easy. Boyfriends, partying, you name it, done that. Being broke, had money, had no money, got cancer. It just goes on and on and on. Soon as I surrendered over, it's like you're protected, you're cared for, you're loved, and you are. So if there's anyone listening right now who doesn't know Jesus, I pray for you that all you have to do is just ask Jesus, are you real? Are you there? Help me. I want to know you. I want you in my life. I want to follow you. I want that love. I want that grace. I want that mercy. I want to live this life with you and the eternal life. So, Lord, I just pray for everybody right now who's out there who has not met you. I just pray, Lord, that you would touch their hearts right now and show them that you are real. He's a living God, a real God, a God that can change your whole world in an absolute instant like that. I thank you, Jesus. I thank you that you're going to be reaching hundreds and thousands of people right now. Because, you know, my journey, it's been a roller coaster ride. But now it's not a roller coaster ride. You know, he still works. I've got a lot of work to do. My husband says I'm like a hamster on a wheel. I pick up on a project and off I go like this. And God comes along and he sticks his finger in the way. He goes, Iona, you're doing that on your own again. And I go, oops, sorry. So I get out of bed and I go, okay, I follow you. And it's amazing the doors he opens when you stay with him. Just stay with him and walk with him and have a relationship with him. And you can only have a relationship when you let go. Let go of the controls of your life and let Jesus in, and he will come in and just, wow, it will just change everything for you. And love, it's all about love. And he loves all of you. Amen.
Thank
Amen.
you. Thank you so much, Wow, what a wonderful story, Iona. Thank you for sharing that. So many people are watching this. You've heard that wonderful story from Iona. You've heard that you can have that relationship with Jesus, a relationship with the living God, and you can change you in a moment.